I think more so now since we've started the show, I've been more inclined to learn about videography, how to edit, the whole YouTube space. But it brings me joy because it allows me to create something that I normally wouldn't do throughout my everyday job.
I've been thinking of combining the two together because I love golf and it's a hobby of mine, and I love health and fitness. I wanted to take the biomechanical aspect of my academic training and purpose that with my hobby, which is golf.
Yeah, that's always kind of weird.
In their eyes.
Is that a song?
Eagle eyes.
Eagle, baby. Eagle eyes.
Oh, you know what? It's actually kind of cool that it's louder because then I don't have to be like
Super
right
close.
up against.
Yeah, you don't have to get up in it,
Dope. All right. Well, jump into this. I don't like having like a formal introduction.
I mean, this one.
Nah, you don't need one.
No.
I usually don't. Well, not anymore. But I don't know like how the beginning is going to go of this season, so we'll figure it out. But thank you guys for coming back.
Well, thank you
and
for
doing this
having us.
again. I'm so excited.
Thank you for having us. What season is it, by the way?
This is season 5. You guys were on season 2.
Whoa.
Oh.
It's just been a minute.
Yep.
It has been a minute.
It was, what did we say? June, July
It was June.
2021.
Wow.
A lot of time has passed.
Okay.
Which is exactly why I wanted to do this. But, I mean, how long has it been? How much time is that? Someone count? I don't know.
7 months?
Okay, so like
Yeah.
almost a year-ish.
Yeah.
But do you guys feel like a lot's changed in that time?
I mean, personally, yeah. But
Yeah, yes.
But for the show,
No, I mean, yeah, whatever, personal. Because I feel like we definitely talked about the show a lot, yeah, but we also talked about a lot of stuff personally for both of you.
We did.
I feel like things got more personal than you intended to.
yeah.
Which is, it's a good thing. Because
No, it is.
A lot of times you don't. Those good conversations come from having those unexpectations.
Yeah.
That's a new word. Unexpectations.
Is that a word?
Yeah.
Did you just say that?
Wait, hold on.
I did.
Yeah, I was like, I think Sam's mic needs to be closer to his face.
Oh, I got to get closer?
No, you could.
Yeah, that's
you
good.
can lean back,
Okay.
but like.
I just
Yes.
put that.
Yeah, so we made a new word, unexpectations. It's probably not a word
Who's
that you'll
we?
find
You
in
just made
Oxford
that up by
or
yourself.
whatever.
Thank you.
You just made that
You
up.
always try to rope me into these.
No, I'll take credit. It's my word.
No, I want credit too.
Unexpectations.
Unexpectations.
Unexpectations. You have those unexpectations.
I actually really like that word.
You know?
No, like, because the more you
Seriously?
say it, I'm like, damn, that makes sense. I like that.
You know, we have a common thing happening right now. It's like initially we don't believe in Sam. We don't like the
What
things
do
that
you
he's
mean,
saying.
don't believe in Sam?
I'm talking about like the last episode that we did on our channel with you.
It's not that I don't believe. Okay, he had one opinion I didn't agree with that I was very shocked to hear. It's not that I don't believe in.
See, what he's talking about is at our job. Normally, when we have a conversation, people are like, "Okay, this dude's about to get on his soapbox," or he's about to give us some BS.
Okay.
And they're like, "We got to fact check this guy."
Yeah.
And then they fact check me. We're like, "Oh, he's actually not true." But a lot of times, I do tell a lot of bullshit.
See?
That's just the truth.
Don't
so,
we all?
So that's why they're like,
Don't we
is
all?
he on some is he on some right now, or is he spitting truth? So when unexpectations.
But as we just
Unexpectations.
discovered as a conversation pre-recording, sometimes the fact check, you are right.
Yeah.
Please elaborate on
So,
this.
for anyone who's unfamiliar, right after
Oh,
we
boy.
recorded our first episode together of Unpopular Passion, we recorded an episode of The Black and Tan Show, which I was a guest on,
Thank you.
talking about pizza. And Sam said Sbarro's was authentic pizza, like the most authentic pizza he's ever
Which,
had.
if people out there have not seen the episode,
Oh
or
yeah,
seen
you
the
have
clip,
to watch the video because
I've never seen
my
Andrea
fucking face,
so
like,
animated in my life.
My face twisted into so many different things. My hands flew up in the air. I was like, I'm sorry, what? What are you talking about?
She was thoroughly confused.
Very much, because Sbarro's is, you can only get Sbarro's at a mall, and I've never had good mall pizza or like good food court pizza. Because even like I go to Santa Fe all the time, and sometimes if I'm craving pizza, I'll go to that pizza place. It's not a Sbarro's.
They have a Villa in there, don't
yes,
they? Villa pizza.
But see, that's the thing. If I go to a Villa like standalone restaurant,
Oh, it's bomb.
good.
Yeah.
That one, not
No.
good. I think it's just like food court pizza is not good. I don't know why. But backtracking. So, yeah, I did not agree with you. I thought it was a weird opinion. Come to find out, Sbarro's was started by like a small Italian family straight from Italy. And so apparently it is very authentic.
Wow.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then they just like got successful and started branching out. So, I mean, good for them. I wouldn't
you.
have guessed.
Thank you.
You are correct.
So, yeah.
This is my official. Well, actually, I wouldn't say I redacted because my reaction's still my reaction. I still don't agree.
No,
But
Yeah.
you were not incorrect.
You were not. Yeah, exactly.
I wasn't capping.
You-
Oh.
She doesn't like that,
I
everybody.
don't like the word cap. I fucking hate the word cap. I don't understand it. Anyways,
Oh,
I don't like
man.
that word.
Yes.
Or at least I don't like the word in using it in that sense.
Like no
there's-
cap.
Yeah, there's like official or not official. There's ways you can say cap, like a kneecap or a ball cap or,
Wow.
cap of a bottle.
Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who you will see this eventually, but JR right now, he does have technical skills and
It doesn't really
he has
take technical skills to record.
yeah,
Oh,
and he's doing his magic. He's working his magic right now. If you guys can't see
Drea
what
don't
he's
not
doing.
want to give me no
Sorry,
credit.
I'm just saying. No,
He's
you
working
do
his
have
magic on
skills.
the
I'm just
iPhone
saying,
right
not.
now.
This
Tech
isn't take
skills,
skills.
you know?
But real quick, sorry. Could you zoom it out?
I did. I
Okay,
did,
good.
yeah,
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Yeah,
Anyway, back to the
it's a
conversation.
good shot right
Yes.
there.
So, okay. So something I want to ask is if I were to ask you now, what are you most passionate about compared to asking you back then when we first recorded, would your answers differ? Would they be the same?
Ooh.
So, JR, you said that your biggest passion at the time was creativity and being creative.
Mhm.
Sam, you said it was health and fitness and golf. For you
Ooh.
guys, it could have stayed the same, I'm sure. Did it? Did it change? Would it be different now?
I would say for me, creativity is still like the main focus.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there is more being done in the golfing space now.
Yeah.
With an organization that I'm a part of, and also I think also working with Love Yourself Foundation as well. The mental health aspect of things has taken precedent over
I like
a lot of
that.
stuff.
I
So
like that.
definitely still in a creative space in those areas more so than what I was back in June.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sam?
Interesting. I would say the passion, yes, has stayed the same, but I believe my priorities have shifted. Maybe because I shifted to a different mindset. At the time we last recorded, I still was, again, passionate about golf, passionate about health and fitness. I will always be passionate about those two aspects, but
Yeah.
from my personal working background, like I wasn't in the same space that I am in now.
What do you mean?
So I've been doing a lot of self-reflecting. I've been doing a lot of self-analyzing. I've been doing a lot of, watching a lot of videos and of entrepreneurs and watching a lot of videos of people who are successful in their own businesses, in their own markets, I guess, so to speak. And the mindset that they all have adapted is that instead of pointing fingers and placing blame or trying to find reasons and external things why you are not accomplishing the things you want to be or the things you want to accomplish or be successful in things that you want to be, is more so what are you doing or what have you done that has delayed you or derailed you from being what it is that you want to be. And so I kind of like shifted how I was looking at my work environment, and I'm like, not that I hate my job or that I don't like my work, but I was looking at it from a negative standpoint. And I recently watched this video from this channel called Earn Your Leisure, which is like an investing channel. It's a financial channel that gives you financial literacy. They educate you on finances. One of the guys on the channel said you should start looking at your job if you're working on a business and you're looking to become a millionaire, or you're looking to start your own business, become an entrepreneur while working. Stop looking at your job as being this hindrance, but you should start looking at it as being a business partner.
Oh.
And so now I've shifted my mindset is that the job that I work now is a place that provides me a financial means of assistance or a way of getting me to where I'm trying to go. And so instead of saying, oh, well, I hate this place, look at it as like, oh, this is my business partner. I have to come to work. They have expectations of me. We're going to trade basically services. So I'm going to come to work and I'm going to put in my hours and do my service, and they're in turn going to provide me something. And at the end of the day, the idea or their goal is we're going to part ways once I'm ready to venture out on my own, because we are no longer suited to do business together. So instead of looking at it as being like this negative hindrance or this thing's blocking me from time and all these other aspects, it's the business partner right now. My job is my business partner until I can get to an area that's going to allow me to step away from that partnership. So that is...
Wish I knew that back then.
I know.
I'll tell you that.
Never looked at it in that angle.
Yeah, and I've learned a lot in the last 3 to 4 months, and even more so from the last time we had a conversation. Like it's all about the perspective, right? I mean, life in general. If we just change our perspective on things, like that can really shed some insight and be beneficial to us, if we're able to do that. So those are the things that have changed since the last time we had a conversation. I still love golf. I still love health and nutrition. It's just that right now I'm pushing into my 40s, and my focus has shifted because I'm trying to secure my future. Not that I've put my dreams of playing golf or, health and nutrition as on the back burner, but I'm focusing more on, I think, the more short-term things that provide me my way of living right now. Yeah. Which is my job. And so I wanted to shift that mindset. And I think shifting that mindset will allow me to benefit from the other things.
I like that. Okay. To play devil's advocate real quick. Because I do really like that way of looking at it, because you can make yourself so miserable by just being like, oh my God, I fucking hate this job. I hate being here every day. And that just, of course, makes everything else worse. And it just like makes your day insufferable. But also at the same time, like what you said, seeing it as a partner and a trade of services is like, I give you my service, you trade me this. I somewhat recently had a guest on. His name is Roger, and he recently decided to take what he calls an adult gap year and quit his job. And his whole focus now is living out his bucket list. And he actually has his own podcast that I was on, and it's all about bucket lists. He speaks to people about what they cross off their bucket lists. And the thing he said to me was that really stuck to me. He said work-life balance doesn't exist, because if it really existed, they would give you that amount of time back that you gave to them.
Wow.
And they don't. Like, you get how much time off of work and give how much of your life to your job. So even though, yes, I totally love that spin, looking at it that way, because obviously your job is a necessity. You need that to survive. You need that income. But also, like, it's not an equal trade.
No, it's not.
It's not. You are giving so much more.
I mean, literally, no, it isn't. Literally, it's not an even trade.
But yeah, that just came back to my mind when you mentioned that. And that was something he said to me that really stuck out. And he was like, work-life balance doesn't exist. And as soon as he said that, it made me think back to my old job. Work-life balance was something they threw around like crazy. And I realized that is just a manipulative tactic people use of being like, oh yeah, well, you need work-life balance, because they want you to think they care and they give a shit when they don't, because it doesn't exist.
It's like a trap. It's almost like a trap.
It's very much a trap.
Like a way to institutionalize you mentally. Or like sort of like create like an imprisonment, right? Like give you
Yeah.
this false sense of, oh, these are the benefits you're going to get. But
Yes.
really, in actuality, you're not getting the benefits, because I've said many times to Jay and other people at work, it's like, whoever thought of this construct of work? You work, there's 7 days in a week. You work 5 of those days and you get 2 days off.
Exactly.
Like, how is that fair?
Exactly. But then not only that, well, I feel like not only that was not the correct response, but I feel like that is very heavily an American thing, because if you look at other countries, their time off, their vacation, those things
way
are
different.
way more flexible. They get way more time in return. They are given time for things that we are not given time for things. So I think a lot of it is an Americanized thing.
That's interesting.
And
I
our
have
society.
not done research on that, but I have
Oh,
heard
yeah.
that other countries and other cultures do have more of what a true work-life balance.
Yes. And also, I mean, this is just one example. And I mean, I could be wrong. So fucking, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I think America is the only country that doesn't give paternity leave to new fathers.
Interesting.
Oh.
They give it to mothers. Obviously, you give birth, whatever, you need your time. But it's like, oh, you're the father, you didn't do anything. You don't get time off with your new child. Like, yeah.
Crazy.
That's just one example.
Crazy.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's, a lot of it is an American thing for sure.
I was going to say, there has recently been some men at our office that have newborns. I don't know if they've had the option to take
Paternity leave?
paternity leave,
I
or
think
if
maybe
maybe
some
they do like
companies
FMLA, like federal.
I'm pretty
probably
sure.
can.
I'm pretty sure their guys can take FMLA to be there.
Yeah, but
It's
is
not
that
as
the-
long, but
Mm-hmm.
Is that like a form of paternity leave, though? Is that what paternity leave or maternity leave is classified under? Is
As FMLA?
Yeah.
No.
Or is it it's its own separate
thing.
leave, right?
But then here's the other fucked up thing is like, and again, I don't know if this is an American thing, but not every company is required to give someone maternity leave. They could be like, you gave birth yesterday. Well, you
need to
worked
come in.
today, so. Because I had a friend who worked at a job and she had a child. They didn't have maternity leave, so she just had to like save up her vacation time to take off time to
That's
give.
straight trash.
And then I don't know, the company I used to work for, they're a foreign company, so I don't know maybe if that's why, but I know they did paternity leave because we had fathers take time off. So again, I don't know if it's because they're European
Right, yeah.
company. I don't know if it's a company by company basis out here, but shit's fucked up, man.
I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna let the host move
No, you're
on.
good. You're good. You're good. This is just a conversation.
So many. Oftentimes, I've had conversations with people who are not native to America or who are not American by birth. They're not
Yeah.
born in America, right? So you may speak to someone who comes from another country who may be like, "Oh, the freedoms and the benefits and the things that are provided in
Yeah.
America are so far greater than from their own country," and a lot of the times, my ignorance, because I don't know the culture in which they come from, is kind of like I pass judgment, and I shouldn't do that, but it's like America's not that great, and I know that that's gonna upset a lot of people, and a lot of people are like, oh, well, you have no idea what it's like to live in a third world country. That's very true.
Yeah.
But I'm speaking from an American, being an American perspective. I'm not gonna throw race into it because that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah.
But just being an American in America and seeing every nation has its problems, right? I'm not saying that it's perfect or anything. I'm not trying to go down that lane at all.
Yeah.
But I see these other countries and I'm like, there are so many things in these other countries that I would prefer and take to implement in the American society to
Yeah.
make America better, because we lack what these other countries have.
Oh, for sure.
So
But
it
that's
just
like, that
it's,
is
it's always
also-
interesting. It's always just it's an interesting conversation to have.
Yeah. But it's also, like you said, that is the developed countries.
True. Oh, that is true. Yes,
The
that is
developed
true.
countries, yes, they have things that are far better than living in America. And I feel like that's a reality a lot of people are starting to realize now. But yeah, I've seen it from both ends, just because, like, obviously my family's from a third world country. So it's like, yeah, when you come from that, of course, this is no comparison.
Right.
But from us having that privilege of growing up here, not coming from that, this is all we know. it is not better than those other developed countries. Like, it makes me wonder, like, why are all these people trying to immigrate here and not to these European countries instead?
Right.
Right.
Or to Canada or something, you know, like, why are they coming here?
Right.
You shouldn't be. Because,
And that's the interesting
'cause
part,
it's
right?
not great.
Like, I don't know everything about, third world countries. I don't know a lot at all, actually. But I just do know there's, bits and pieces from those conversations I've had with people. And and I'm like, well, again, being ignorant to their circumstance, because I've never lived in a third world country, but there's so many things that I've seen or heard from other countries, I think, like I said earlier, that we could benefit from if we implement it within our own society.
For sure.
That would make America so much better. And, people are like, oh, he's crazy. And it's...
Because, I honestly, truly believe that we are just fucking brainwashed. Like, I don't know what it is this country has that they've put out to the rest of the world that we're the best that there is. Like,
Right.
why and how? How the fuck did that happen?
Maybe at a certain point in time, it was that way.
Yes.
Maybe.
But as time has gone on and the things that we are dealing with all the time, it's not like that anymore.
Yeah,
you
for
can't
sure.
confidently say to somebody like, United
America
States is
is-
amazing.
Oh,
Right.
I mean, it depends. And it's like, I don't want to sound ungrateful. For,
Right.
you
And
know,
that's I
for
don't
the
want to
things-
sound like I'm
Exactly.
ungrateful for being American. But I appreciate the sacrifice that the men and women of this country
Oh, yeah, for sure.
have given in order for us to have our freedom. So I don't want
I
to
don't,
make
and
it
I don't
sound
think
like
that
I'm
that's the
treading on
conversation that we're having.
Oh,
either.
yeah,
I just
sure.
wanna put that out
Yeah,
there.
that is a
Yeah.
separate
Yes, I
subject.
just
But
wanna
yes,
put that
also
there.
agreed.
Yeah.
Because I do have a lot of like military friends and family too.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
So there's no
separate
disrespect
thing,
to
but
those
yeah.
families whatsoever.
But I do see your need to mention that because sometimes I feel like people automatically assume that when you say something like that, it's like, oh, what about these people that
Right.
I didn't fucking say anything.
Yeah.
Like, don't throw that shit in my mouth. Like, never once did I bring that
Yeah,
up.
exactly.
So. But yeah, so I see your
Yes.
need to mention that.
I'm just a person of context, and so when we start talking about the conversation, I just want to make sure that I am very clear that
Yeah, no, I
I'm
get
not
that.
against military or
I get that
the freedom. None of that.
Yeah, of
I'm not
course not.
speaking to that.
Yeah.
How do you?
Anyways, that was a tangent. But hey, that's what
Just
that's
be-
the
all about.
best. Yeah. I always feel like, I don't know, saying shit like that, I'm like, people are so quick to judge.
Yeah, and I just like to
Yeah.
clarify, so that people understand my intent of what I'm saying. That's why I
Yeah, for
really,
sure.
I try to give context, is so that people don't misunderstand what it is that I'm saying, because I respect both of my fathers are in the military, so, and I wanted to be in the military myself, so it's not, like I said, it's no disrespect to
Did you say
military
both of your
life.
fathers?
Yeah, my biological father and my stepfather.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because I could have meant two different things. I was just
Thank you for clarifying.
Yeah, I was just saying. Okay, it could have meant two different things.
Context.
But then I also was like, because the first thing that came to my mind, I was like, oh, you're not married, so you're not talking about a father-in-law, because that was the first thing. So it could have been three different things.
Yes.
Three
yes,
different
yes,
possibilities.
yes. No, my biological father and my stepfather.
Gotcha.
We in there.
Binkum.
Okay, hold on.
I was telling her earlier, this is the life of a content creator. Solo
Oh, yeah.
content creator.
I kind of know what I'm doing.
Never doubted you.
So, anyways, so I feel like
Yeah.
the biggest thing I think that's changed since the last time we talked is you left your job.
I did leave my
And that
job.
was something you were talking about a lot. Actually, on the episode, maybe you were thinking about it, but you were like, you said, I don't even know what I want to do. And you guys were just about to go back to the office after being.
That's right.
Yeah, we
Remote.
went
That's
back
right, yeah.
July 1. That's true.
So, how's that been?
Yeah,
What's,
spin it,
what's
Jay.
going on?
Spin that record, DJ. Spin that shit.
How much time do we have?
We got all the time in the world.
So initially, it's still a wild story to even tell, of being on your podcast in June, talking about that I want to leave, but didn't really know how all that looked. I wasn't really even convinced yet that I was even going to do it. It was just an idea at the time of just like, I think I can do it, but I'm not sure how this is going to look. But anyways, then July comes around. July 1, and we go back to the office, and I'm sitting in my office, and I'm looking around, and I'm just like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here.
Your job was not your business partner.
It was not. No, that business partnership was not good. And it wasn't. It was the work that I wasn't happy about anymore. It wasn't the people that were there or any of that stuff.
If anything, I think the people you work with are what makes you stay longer than you should.
Yes.
Because for me, that's what it was in my old job.
Exactly.
Yes. So I ended up putting in my 2 weeks in July, and then I left at the end of July. And it was such a great feeling. It was a good feeling because that's the only job I've ever worked. I've been there for 16 years. That's all I knew.
Yeah.
So taking this leap of faith to try and start my own business was something I was super excited about.
Yeah. I mean, it's an exciting thing to do.
Yeah. And also I didn't think I was capable of doing something like that, of making a decision like that. So definitely had a lot of encouragement with people that was there. Obviously, people were sad, but they saw that I was passionate about something, and I knew that I wanted to do something. So that first couple months was really fun, really exciting. It's all brand new. Didn't even know what was going on. Got the business plan together. I got my business license all set up. I got that over there on the wall.
Oh, shit. That's cool.
So that was really exciting. Cut to near the end of the year was not pretty.
You know what? That's the thing, though, is I feel like people, and not saying this was you, but I feel like people don't realize, it's not gonna be fun, and it's gonna be way more fucking work than you ever did in your whole life.
Yes, 100%. I remember, I think we talked about this on the podcast before, but there's a meme that's out there. Is like, I'm leaving my 9-to-5 job so that way I can work 24/7. That's
pretty much. Yeah,
that's exactly what you do.
That's what it is. Yeah.
And that's what it ended up becoming. There were some things that happened near the end of the year that kind of swayed me off of my vision of where I wanted to be and what I wanted to do for the business. But it just became a thing where I was waking up every day in a panic of just,
what am I gonna do now?
Yeah, and I think this is an interesting kind of perspective for this particular podcast, because I feel like I was so motivated by everybody else's story of how they started and how they're living their life and they're enjoying everything that they're doing.
Yeah, of course.
That I'm not sure if I've heard people talk about like the shitty part of the initial process of getting things up off the ground. And that's kind of where I'm at right now, is just waking up in a panic because I don't know how I'm going to get money. I'm not making any income right now. Another thing which I had that I didn't think was a luxury at the time, health insurance I don't have right now, which is another thing where it's like I don't even want to leave the house because I don't know if I'm going to get sick.
It's honestly like
I don't want to get sick.
It's that thing of like you don't use it when you have it, and then when you don't have it, you're like, fuck.
Exactly. I had ended up getting COVID in December.
Oh, shit.
And the initial thing that in my head was just like, please, dear God, do not go to the hospital.
Yeah, because I can't fucking afford
Again,
it.
Another thing we were talking about.
I was like, not to bring it back, but being sick in America.
It's not fun. No, it's not. It's not an exciting thing. Yeah. So, so a lot of this has been in my head. I ended up kind of slipping into depression near the end of the year as well, of just like, not being able to get up out of bed. I'm staying in bed until like 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning, not really having a drive to do this to do the stuff for the business. So it has not been pretty. I will say that. The initial part of me leaving was amazing. Now the reality is kind of sinking in of just like, oh, well, now these funds are starting to go away, and I don't really have a concrete plan. So it's always hindsight when you're actually doing it. And a lot of people told me in the initial part of me like leaving, of just like, are you sure you want to leave? Are you sure you don't want to just make sure that you have the business all set up already? Do you want to make sure that you have clients or have income coming in before you leave? And I was like, no, I'm going to figure it out.
Yeah.
Now it's like, well, I probably should have stayed a little bit longer, but I will say, I don't think I would have left.
Exactly.
If I was still trying to work through that stuff, because I think the if I'm being completely honest with myself, if I had stayed and said I was going to work on the business, I probably would still be there for another 5-6 years.
Exactly. Because
Yeah.
you're so comfortable too. So it's like, well, I'm still getting things started. So what's another year and what's another blah,
Right,
blah, whatever.
exactly.
So you get stuck in that cycle again.
Right. So now I'm here at 7 months of being on my own and going through coursework. I ended up changing my idea of what I wanted to do. Initially, I wanted to do tech consulting, but then quickly realized like, I don't know how to fucking I don't know how to pitch those ideas. I don't know how to do any of that stuff. It came out of epiphany one day where I was like, oh, how about I just make tech videos on YouTube? Seems to be the easiest entry to get into something. And it really is no niche of what I'm trying to do. So I figure, okay, maybe I can stand out a little bit. But doing the coursework and trying to get back to, be in that mindset to do that stuff, it's going to take way longer than I expected.
Yeah, of course. And I think that's another thing too. You're right. And that's this like comparison trap we can get stuck in so much of like, yeah, on one hand, that is the whole point of the show, is to inspire people to do what you want to do and like hear these stories. But on the other hand, it's like you can't compare what they've done to what you're doing.
Right.
I mean, if anything, the whole point is to be like, oh, look, someone else did it. I'm sure I could do it too. But then it's like that fine line of telling yourself that and being like, oh, well, they're already doing this and doing that. And I'm still stuck in this stage that I'm stuck in. But also, yeah, people don't talk enough about the shit part of it and the struggling of it, because it's gonna happen. Like, you're not gonna take off right away. And that was something I think happened to me too, is like I was also trying to start my own business and I was like, well, shit, I don't know what I'm doing. And I was like, I had like a 3-month deadline on myself. Like, what am I gonna do in 3 months? And why am I trying to rush things so much?
Right.
And so now I'm not trying to rush things anymore.
I think that was the same thing too, is I was telling myself like, okay, I'm going to give myself a year. I'm going to figure this out, give myself a year, see what I can do. And if I can't do it, then I'll go find a job, whatever.
Yeah.
And this is kind of the newest development that has happened at this point is I'm already 7 months in, and I literally just had a conversation with my boss last night.
Your boss, your old boss?
My old boss,
so you don't have a boss.
Yeah. I am
He had a conversation with himself.
Yeah. Asking her if there is an opportunity for me to come back.
No, you didn't.
I did.
And you know what? Excuse my reaction, because it shouldn't be a bad thing. Sorry.
Trust me, I've for months now, I have been trying so hard not to have that as an option because of, me going back kind of feels like I'm going backwards. But just kind of going through these ideas of where I'm supposed to be, knowing that this money has an expiration date if nothing ends up happening.
That's true.
Again, the health insurance thing too.
Yeah.
There are certain perks of working a 9 to 5 that I'm now realizing of just like, okay, there is some good that comes out of this.
Yeah.
That I ended up talking to her, and I was just like, if there is a possibility, if there's anything that is available, I would be open to it. Obviously, she was shocked because she hasn't heard anything since then. She was like, I thought everything was going good. I thought no news was good news. I was like, well, let me tell you.
But I also feel like that is kind of a rude thing to say, like, oh, I thought things were going good, to imply that it's not good.
Right.
Like,
well,
just
yeah.
because you want to fucking have an income like we need to survive in the world doesn't mean that things are bad. And I don't know, that just seems like such a shitty thing to say. Like, I thought you were better not working here.
I think from her perspective is because she knows how I felt at the end.
Yeah.
Of how that wasn't
how
even
unhappy you were.
Yeah, and that just wasn't that time. It was years of just like trying to leave. That she was like, obviously this would be the last resort for you to come back. Right?
Yeah.
Kind of explaining to her that, being completely honest with her and telling her like, I'm still considering this as a short-term thing.
Yeah.
If there's any part-time, like my position has been open, and Sam has actually been applying for that position. And they're already in the second phase of interviews. And she was like, well, you know that your position is open. And I was like, I'm not trying to go back to that.
Yeah. So what is it you're trying to do?
Just a part-time in IT. They have a letter of benefits is what it's called. So it's basically part-time, but you get benefits at the same time. That way I don't have to work full-time. there's not that big of a commitment to that position, but
Yeah.
at least I'm still making an income on the side. I still have my benefits, and it's flexible enough, which was the key thing for me, because I know that you and me were talking about
Yeah.
doing different jobs, going somewhere else, that this particular job is as flexible as it can be. That will allow me to still focus on my business, Love Yourself Foundation, Random Golf Club. It will still give
You
me
have
all
a
that stuff.
lot of
I
shit
do.
going on.
Yes. And people are surprised when I mentioned all that stuff, and people were like, "You're not getting paid for any of that stuff?" I was like, "No, it's all volunteer stuff." But it's one of those passion projects, right?
Yeah.
Where you're just like, I believe in the mission. I believe in what they're doing. Maybe eventually things will get, rolling with funds in that. But so yeah, that's where I'm at right now. And I would be lying to you if I said that I was not disappointed.
I mean, of course you're going to be, especially you put expectations on yourself. You have a certain vision for what it is you want to do. But again, it hasn't even been a year.
I know.
So I don't think there's any need to be that disappointed.
I know. I think
Especially lately, I've been seeing all these. There's this weird new podcast out. I don't know what it's called. And the whole premise of the podcast is they talk to like all these billionaires and like successful people about the times that they were struggling and broke and what were their like favorite broke meals. And just hearing how long those stages of their lives lasted till they got to do,
what they want.
Yeah. So it's not like this is not an overnight thing, There's no need to
Yeah.
be disappointed about that.
Yeah.
I feel it's like it's like a badge of honor, right, for any self-made person to go through your moments of struggle. It's almost like required, right, in order for you to grow.
Yeah.
In order for you to really understand who you are and what you become and what it is that you're trying to attain. I feel that struggle process, and it comes in different varieties for everybody. What the struggle may be. It may be a financial struggle. It may be an emotional struggle. It may be a mental security struggle. It could be any different type of struggle based on the person. But I think that struggle is necessary in order for you to really understand your new purpose.
Oh, for sure. And I feel like that's why, this is kind of different subject, but I feel like that's why so many of these young entrepreneurs, like in this new generation, are so entitled and so privileged because you didn't have to struggle
They
and
don't
have a
identify
shit
with
job.
it,
You
right.
were a kid and you got to jump into internet things, and good for you. You made a career off that, but you never had to struggle. You just got to jump into stuff. Like there's this one guy I used to follow who's like a fitness guy, and he like has his own company, owns his own gyms, and he's never worked a real job. And I was like, oh, good for you. But, sometimes that struggle needs to be there a little bit.
And I think, to be completely honest, how many people would really subject themselves voluntarily to struggle?
True.
No one's going to be like, yeah, let me raise both of my hands
That's
and
a
say,
good
please,
point, yeah.
screw me for all of my businesses. Let me feel what it is to really hurt.
Yeah, and I also would never wish any struggle on anyone. Like, genuinely good for you that you haven't had to go through that.
Yeah,
Right.
but
sometimes,
it's like,
it builds
like,
not only does it
lucky.
build the appreciation, it builds the what was I gonna say?
Character?
Yeah, it does build character.
Yeah.
That wasn't what I was thinking, but yeah, it builds the appreciation, it builds the character, and the experience to
Yeah.
like really be like, okay, I know what this takes, and for me, it makes me think of like when I was working at my old job and all the higher up people would be like, well, why isn't this done and why isn't this? I was like, you've never fucking done what I had to do, so you can't really tell me why is
They
this
can't
not.
relate. They have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, you're not doing the labor part of this job, so you don't understand why it's taking me as long as it is. So I think that's like the kind of stuff that comes out of that. But again, hey, if you didn't have to struggle, good for you.
Right? Lucky you.
Yeah, it's one of those things too where it's just everyone's perspective is different. Everybody's journey is different.
Yeah.
That you can only see that through your eyes, and that's what's going to make the most sense. But also kind of going through this process and kind of being in the position I'm in now, learning and actually feeling what failure feels like, and actually,
You can't say failure.
well, I mean, I think I use that word in the sense of just like I had this idea of where I
You didn't
wanted to be.
accomplish those goals.
I
that you
didn't
set for
accomplish those
yourself.
goals. But
Got
now
it.
that I know what that feels like, my perception of going back into CAO UNLV, if that opportunity is available, my perspective is different now. Where
Yeah.
it's like, I know what I'm doing here at CAO. I know what it's for. Same like what you were talking about as a business partner. They provide me something that I need.
Right.
That it's only going to help me understand where my value is or what I see value in. And my value is in my business. So now, if I were to go back, it's, yes, I know I'm doing this job. I know what it's for. But I know exactly what I need to fucking do for my business now
Yeah.
to make this work. So instead of me struggling and being stressed out, panicking every single fucking day,
Right.
now at least I have something to help me get through that, where it's like, okay, now I'm
Yeah.
doing this. Now I know where I can be at with my business.
But then also, I mean, for me personally, one thing I always tell myself is I would rather try and know than regret not trying.
Right.
And at least you tried, you've done it, you've seen what it is you need to do, you've seen what it is you don't like, you've seen what doesn't work for you. So I mean, if you have to find a job to get through and do what you want to do, fuck it. That's not a bad thing.
Yeah. That was kind of that reality sinking into. It was just like, you know, I think more so too is it's that pridefulness that's in me of just like,
Pride.
I know. Yeah, it fucking
always
gets
a
us every
damn
time.
pride.
We,
It's always a damn
that
pride.
pridefulness of just like, no, don't go back.
Yeah.
Figure out something else, or
Yeah.
it's going to work out. Just keep going. But there's just that's that inherent fear of like, I don't want to get to $0 and then having to figure this shit out.
That's
Right.
also just something, I don't know if I mean, yeah, there is a fear, but that's also just, why is my head, I can't figure out these words. I keep blanking on things. That's also just being responsible. Like you probably shouldn't get to $0 before you figure out what you're going to do.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, and I keep playing. It's like the scenario in my head because I'm looking at other entrepreneurs, and we're not supposed to, compare ourselves to that. But I just see these different people who ended up struggling,
yeah.
and then ended up figuring it out, and
Yeah.
everything ended up fine. That I'm like, no, you should probably experience that because maybe that will work for you. But then I'm like,
But like
I
Sam
still
just
have
said,
to-
who's going to voluntarily
Yeah, who's
put
gonna do
themselves through
that?
struggle?
and I
Like,
think, I think that's the problem right now that's my biggest problem with social media, right? Like people, not to say that it's a negative or a bad thing, but I think it shows it
It's a
doesn't tell
highlight
the
reel.
it doesn't tell the entire
Yes.
story. Correct. It almost is as if not everyone or every business that's on there, but it's almost like the representative is shown on Instagram of the beautiful side of everything,
Yes.
but no one really has ever posted the nitty gritty of what it was
Yeah.
or the process. And why would they? Like,
Of
who's going to
course.
be interested in see the
Yeah.
struggle and the breakdown that you go through and that you suffer, that you subject yourself to in order to get the things you want? But I think that is where people who are going through their struggle, I think that's a better way to identify. Like, if you are a person who's been successful, and I think that's where the richness comes from. If you're a person who, like these podcasts, your particular podcast or any other podcast or YouTube channel that is about entrepreneurship or that's about inspiration and motivation, those people come on those platforms and they tell their story. They tell their struggle
Yeah.
and what they've gone through and how they've risen from that and how they've overcome and now are conquering those
Yeah.
things to be successful. That's what empowers people.
for sure.
That gives people that, you know what,
But
I'm in a shitty moment right now. But these people are also in shitty moments, and look
Yeah.
how they came out on the other side. Not just, always glitz and glamour and this is the beautiful thing. It's just, not saying that it's always fake, but a lot of it seems fake,
It's not. Well, not with everyone.
Not
But
with
not
everyone.
necessarily that it's fake. It's just that they only are going to show you the good things. It's
Right.
the highlight reel of your life. And my kind of counterpart to what you just said is some people definitely talk about their struggles, but nobody talks about their struggles until they're successful. No one's going to sit there.
That is a good
No
point.
one is going to fucking sit there on Instagram and be like, I'm sitting in my empty apartment eating cup noodles again for the 3rd time this week. They're going to say that when they're successful and be like, oh, this is when I was sitting in my empty apartment living off of $2 a day.
That is true.
They're not going to say it while they're in it, you know? And think about it too. If you're in that place, are you going to be posting on your Instagram of like
Probably
how
not.
much shit sucks
there'd
right
be a
now?
little bit
That is
more
true.
important
You know?
things on my mind.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, let me
So-
shoot this video of me hating life right now and me being depressed.
Exactly.
That's a good point.
And I mean, there are actually people who are starting to do that stuff, especially with TikTok being as big as it is. Sometimes I just see people on TikTok just feeling like shit, and they're like, you know what, this might seem weird, but I want people to know like this shit happens, and sometimes like you can just feel like shit for no reason, and I just wanted to show that in case someone else feels that way.
Yeah.
And on one hand, I get it. On the other hand, you're like, it's a little weird.
TikTok is definitely, I feel like, is the wild west of the
sure.
of the social medias, because you'll go in there, you'll start scrolling, and you'll go down a lane where you're like, oh, I didn't even know this thing even existed.
Yeah, I saw a TikTok a guy posted that made me fucking laugh so hard, and he was like, so you know what I don't understand? It's like, I don't understand how people film themselves crying and then post it on TikTok, because I'm thinking like you just gotta be there like and then you gotta pull it up and look at it and be like, yeah, that's good, and then post it.
Exactly. You have to press a button to upload
Yes,
it.
exactly.
Oh man, I was watching a live on TikTok the other day of a guy who was breaking up with his wife.
Oh my god, why?
Was this was
It was
like,
live.
Why?
And it was
So that's my thing. So this fucking fool was like, all right, I'm gonna set this camera up
Set
here.
it up on a
I'm gonna
tripod
go
and
talk
just-
to her over here and fucking break up with it.
Like, what are you
No.
doing?
Come on.
You don't have to put that online. Just do that
See,
in the
and,
private of your
and
own
I guess
home.
that's where like that line comes of showing your struggles, and because like
That's-
yes,
yeah.
that is a real part of life, and maybe there are people getting
Dre,
divorced.
I think he's a little beyond.
Oh no, he's probably
showing
just
his
fucking
struggles. He's on some
narcissistic.
petty
Yeah,
shit.
yeah,
That's some petty
That's
shit.
different. But yeah, you're not. I'm sure you're not in the mindset to show your struggles when you're struggling. You're gonna talk about your struggles when you're out of it.
Right.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
And that was probably a perspective that I didn't really think about before, but that is definitely true. No one's really who's actually struggling or in a place in that particular place can be like, well, let me get this camera out and let me just go ahead and shoot this right now, and then they upload it.
There are those few,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
there's some. But yeah, I do think even if it does come from the perspective of someone who is quote unquote successful, it still helps to hear about their struggles, because you're like, wow, they went through all that shit and they did that. All right, then I think I'll be okay.
Because
You
I
know?
think the reality is more often than not, more people are probably going through something and struggling than more people are just,
Oh,
life is the greatest
100%.
thing ever.
100%. And that is something I actually talked to a friend about, and it was a podcast episode, because her and I are both, you know, really big into spirituality and mental health and everything. And we were saying how, like, with mental health and with spirituality and things like that, it is such a big journey and it takes so much to get through. And that, like, when people see, like, her or I, they did I use that correctly? people
It's good.
see
It's good. They didn't notice.
people
Cool.
see her, or fuck my life.
Yeah.
Bing bong.
You want a shot?
Holy shit.
Oy.
Conversation, we're rolling right now.
Oy.
You know what
How
I'm
far are
saying?
we
We're
down
in
in
it.
that list? That's what
Wow.
I'm curious about.
I mean, okay, you know how I am. I have notes. It's
Right.
not like I need to ask every single question to get through.
But how far are we getting that list though?
I mean,
Shit, we
I feel like I've touched a lot, but
Okay.
I still have a couple things for sure I want to touch on.
Cool.
But like I was saying, so me and my friend, we were talking about mental health, spirituality, and we were saying how people will look at her or they'll look at me and be like, wow, you guys are so happy and like blah, blah, blah. Everything's like so good.
Right.
It's like, yes, it is right now. But you didn't see all the shit I went through to get to this. You didn't see.
You didn't see the work.
Yeah, you didn't see the work.
self-work.
You didn't see the pain. You didn't see all those things that you need to get through
Right.
to get to this point. So, yeah, it does help to talk about it. And that was what she was saying. Is she's like, when I talk to people about this stuff, I want to hear about the shit they went through. And I want to hear the work it took to get to that point.
Like I said, that's the richness, right? I mean, everybody has their own struggle, but it's that's where those people, get that motivation and that the strength to keep going is when you hear somebody else's story, you can relate. And I think that's what helps us get through it.
Yeah, for sure. So, not to completely pivot, but I'm going to completely pivot. So, I mean, obviously for you, going back to the office made you realize how much you didn't want to be there. And then you left.
Yes.
So for you were talking about how it was easier for you to prioritize because you weren't at the office and how going back was going to like fuck everything up for you. How did that change things for you? Did it change your priorities? Did it mess with your priorities?
It definitely, I wouldn't say changed. It allowed me to look at it from a more objective standpoint. So before, I had an idea of what it is that I really, really wanted to do, right? Like the whole, well, I've been home for this long, and you start thinking about all the other things that you could be doing because you're not in an actual office. So you realize, well, I don't actually physically need to be in this location to do this work. And so then your mind starts drifting on the things that you'd rather be doing.
Yeah.
And how can I start these things? How can I get these projects started? How can I get my feet wet or open the door to these other areas that I'm interested in since I have the time, since I don't have to physically be in another location?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say that it necessarily changed, but it allowed me to see things from a different perspective. So going back into the office, like I was saying earlier, like my mind shift and how I viewed my work, my relationship with work changed. And in that relationship changing then allows me to be more positive about, well, what else can I do to implement in my life so that I can do some of these other things that I like to do. And so I think that's what actually changed for me is my mind. The biggest change for me was my mindset. So going back into the office, the change was the mindset. The prioritization was no longer just let me go to work to, collect some funds so that I could live, but also let me be more proactive about doing the things that I want to do so that I can open more doors, so that I can create other avenues and ways and opportunities for myself.
Yeah.
So if I'm just going to work every day and I'm being mindless about the other things that I want to do and making excuses as to why I can't do them because, I just worked 8 hours today and I'm tired when I get home. It's like, if you're trying to be successful and you work a 9 to 5, alluding back to the conversation I had when I was watching the podcast and the YouTube channel Earn Your Leisure, you have to you have to go out and make it work for yourself.
Yeah.
If you want more, you have to do something different to get that more. You just can't keep doing the same things that you're doing and be like, well, why am I not getting more? I want more. I want more for myself. But you don't change anything. Your perspectives don't change. Your mentality doesn't change. Your habits don't change. Nothing's going to change if you don't change.
Sorry, I'm giggling to myself over here because
if you wanted to change, you have to do something different to make it change.
I have this quote that I really love, but I said it in the podcast last night already. But also, it's funny because of who it came from, which is Mike the Situation from Jersey Shore.
Oh, nice.
Let's hear it. I want to hear it. Let me hear it.
He always says, "Nothing changes if nothing changes." And
so simple.
It's so simple, but it's so fucking. It's so effective.
It's so simple.
Yes.
And I tell him all the time, like, it's really, we try to make everything so complex in life, but it's so simplistic. Mm-hmm. If you don't do something different, you're not going to get something different. It's just that simple. If you want a different outcome, do something different to change the outcome. If you keep doing the same things, the outcome isn't going to change. It's insanity. That's crazy to think that it is.
Isn't that the definition
that
of... Is it insanity?
Yes.
Doing the same thing over and again.
Expecting different results. Yeah.
Like this camera.
Keeps blacking out, man. Said, it's
dead.
hot in here. Don't stop. Get it.
Whoa.
She's addicted to them shots. Mommy love to spend it.
Damn.
Yes,
sir.
Okay.
Let them know.
So, all right. Next thing I want to touch on here. Where do things stand with black and tan? That's the real nitty gritty.
You want to
get
take
down
that one?
to here?
Huh?
Nah, man. I mean, I'll touch on it.
Because let me just say first.
Yes, please.
One of the most memorable things that stuck out to me when I listened to the episode was JR. You said you were like thinking, what would my day look like if I had 8 hours to do what I wanted to do? And
Ooh.
yeah, and you talked a lot about devoting more time to the channel.
Yes.
What's going on?
So I think that there was a lot more focus on getting the business started.
Of course.
So that's where a lot of that effort was going. But to be honest with you, a lot of my focus shifted into the Live Yourself Foundation because that just became a nonprofit at the end of the year last year.
Cool.
So there's a lot of stuff that is happening with that. So that took up a lot of my time. Lack of motivation to edit videos, if I'm being completely honest.
Happens.
Happens.
It's a lot of work.
There's
It
a lot of stuff that goes into that. So, yeah, there was just a lot of distraction that was happening near the end of the year that didn't really get me pumped to make any edits to the video, to make any content, any of that stuff. So yeah, which I will also mention, there's something that's really important that I learned kind of late in this whole thing of just setting boundaries with yourself.
Ooh, very important.
I like that.
Very
I like
important.
that.
Something that I wish I would have done earlier, but I just had a conversation with Monica, who's the founder of Live Yourself Foundation, probably a couple of days ago, maybe even last week. I can't remember. But just telling her that I'm pulling back from some of the stuff that I'm doing with LYF so that way I can focus on the business.
Yeah.
Which was a good thing for me because I've never kind of done that. I just, with everything that I'm involved in,
100%. You're just.
I'm always
all
just
committed.
Just because I would like to help out as much as possible. But
yeah, of course.
setting those boundaries have allowed me to kind of pull back a little bit and regain that focus. And I think a lot of that too was we had a conversation a couple of nights ago when we went out to Paymans, talking about where we're going to go, what's next, what's happening, all that stuff. And that got me re-energized about the channel as well. So where our content will go, how can we branch out as far as funding for the show, merch. Thank you. That's the thing. I will say though that was really cool. The two things that have happened so far that I think about the channel, trying to get back into it. One, Manscaped of all things have reached out.
Oh my god, yeah, that was so cool.
An email came through.
I had to double check. I was like, "Hey, man, are you sure this is
like,
real?
is this real?
Like,
is this legit?
Like, are you serious?"
Of all my 16 years of IT experience, you best believe I was looking at that email 3, 4, 5 times to make sure that was real.
See, I wouldn't even know how to do that shit.
I was like, these links bogus. Is this name
I'm
weird?
the one that would so easily fall for a scam. I'd be like, yes, oh my god,
right?
Take all my information.
Yeah, exactly. So for Manscaped to reach out to us and us being a channel that's so young was very interesting because I didn't think that they would even have us on their radar.
Yeah, like think about it. Who is seeing your show? Someone's got eyes on your show to be
That's
like,
what
hey.
I kept asking. I was like, "How did Manscaped come across Black?"
Because
and Tan? Like,
they
how?
are sponsors of some big podcasts that I listen to.
Podcasts,
one
UFC.
being, do you watch Workaholics? Oh my god. I know me and JR both listen to it. So there's a show, comedy show, amazing comedy show called Workaholics. But it's like dumb stoner comedy, but it's so good. But they have a podcast now called This Is Important, and I just know that Manscaped is one of their sponsors. And they're like fucking big. Like these guys are big actors. Huge. One director, 3 actors. They're all huge. And that's one of their sponsors. I was like, oh fuck.
I was just watching a UFC event last weekend, and they have Manscaped plastered all over the ring. So
that's crazy.
So for that to come through, obviously that didn't pan out because we don't have enough followers. All that
but
stuff.
the fact that they even like just looked at your content was like, hey,
exactly. And I was like, oh, okay, we're on to something.
dope.
We're doing so. These drink reviews are doing something. Okay. And then the other thing that's happened recently, and Sam's been telling me since he's been working at UNLV, is everybody is always asking, when's the next episode?
That's gotta
when is
feel
the next
good.
episode? And that feels amazing.
Yeah. Love that.
So where are we at with the channel right now? Kind of stagnant, but I think that there's enough things that are in the works in the background that are going to kind of propel us back into making content full time and making sure that we're kind of still sticking with it.
And to be fair, I probably could be more proactive.
You said that last time.
And not just being more helpful with the channel and
Yeah.
producing content and ideas, but being more proactive in, I guess, reminding or even just soliciting the Jay being more accountable, saying, "Hey Jay, let's just go shoot," regardless of what it is, whether it's a golf vlog or if it's whatever we want to shoot, just
Let's
press
just
the
make
button
something.
and record. Just shoot, just whatever. We'll see. Just see what it is.
Yeah.
But just record. So I could be more accountable in that aspect. But it's allowing him and understanding where he's at in his journey right now in life and not wanting to add additional pressure to him.
That's a good point.
Like, I'm very aware of my buddy. This is my dude.
Yeah.
I'm very aware of where he is in his life right now. And so I know that he's trying to get his business started. He's got other things that he's dealing with and working on. So right now, Black and Tan, it's not about Black and Tan. I always tell him and always share with him that I have his best interests. So it's always going to be, I'm always going to tell him, I'm always going to give him advice. I'm always going to talk to him from an aspect of, I care about you and I'm supporting whatever it is that you want to do. And so if Black and Tan is on the black burner, Black and Tan is on the black burner if you're trying to get your business up. Black burger?
Back burner.
Black burger.
Black burger in the back burner, baby. Black burger in the black burner.
We need to get the LLC started. Black burger.
The black
next
burgers.
venture.
But
But you know what? I appreciate that. That's a good friend. That is a good friend.
So I just want him to know that I'm his best supporter. So if he needs to take time to do what it is that he needs to do,
Yeah.
I get that. It's not and I'll honestly admit, I'm like, damn, man, I want to record some shit too,
Yeah.
But I know he's doing other good work in other places. And so it's not just, oh man, when are we gonna do some shit? It's more like I understand where he's at and I respect that. And so it's like
That's good.
I value those things.
That's a
I'm
good
like, well,
friend.
Black,
It's a good friend.
Black and Tan will get back to Black and Tan when it's time. When
But
he has some time.
I also will have to say that I have to take responsibility of
It's a partnership.
that too, right?
Yeah.
It's
You guys
true.
both have to hold
Yeah.
each other accountable.
Yes.
True. That
because
is true.
I am stretching myself thin with the things that I can do.
Dude, yeah, you have so much fucking
Yeah.
shit you're doing. Like,
I'm stretching myself out thin, and I can see it in Sam's face when we meet together, and I mention anything about anything else I'm working on.
I got A, B, and C going on here.
When I say LYF or something, some other acronym, he's
not
like,
true.
"Oh man, come
That's
on!"
not
I can
true.
tell because I know, and I feel bad about it because it's like
Monica, if you're watching, that's not true. The rest of the LYF
He's like,
group,
call him
that's
out,
not
call him out.
true.
it's because I know that I need to edit the videos. Like we have
Yeah.
a video that we
True,
shot
true,
months
true.
ago that is still just sitting there.
Yeah.
I still need to edit it, and it really, when it comes down to it, if we're just talking about simplicity, it don't take that fucking long to edit a video. It really
oh my
doesn't.
god! I realized that too about these. Well, obviously this is the first season I've done video, so I don't know that yet. I haven't dove into it, but audio, like it.
Is this your first one? Your first video?
My first season doing video. This is my third time shooting video. This is the third one I've recorded for the season.
Okay. Yeah.
But I've never
Last time
done.
we didn't have video.
I've never done video before this
Yeah,
season.
yeah.
So this whole season I'm trying to do video. And so I don't know yet how that's going to be, putting that aspect into it. But as far as only doing audio, I could fucking knock out an episode 2-3 hours if I really wanted to. Do I? No. Like,
And that's what it always comes down to. It's like an episode I could have edited within less than 4 hours has now turned into
3
5
days.
months.
Oh shit! Never mind.
When I could have just had, and it's the lack of motivation, and it's all that stuff where it's just like I can just turn on iMovie, put this video in here,
Yeah.
cut it up, and be done with it.
Yeah.
If
But
I really want to,
shared something with Jay about that. So if you're in a space where you are unmotivated or you don't have inspiration
Yep.
and you don't have that drive, it's going to be very difficult to tap
For
into your
sure.
creativity
Yeah.
because that's a part of that.
Yeah.
So if you're unmotivated and you're not inspired, it's very hard to create
Yes.
if you don't have either one of those.
100%.
So I was telling him, like, hey, don't beat yourself up, dude. Like, I understand. Like it's good. Once you get back to that place, all the juices will start flowing. Everything will be right with the world.
And sometimes it's just your environment, because even so, like, I used to edit at my work desk, and then I realized, like, I fucking hate sitting at my work desk because I do this all day.
You're right.
So then I made my filming and shooting area. Now I have like my couch and my like cool area. And if I edit there, I feel good. I feel fine. I could like knock some shit out. Sometimes I'm like, maybe I should try going to a coffee shop or something just to get out. And then also, if I'm sitting in a coffee shop, I'm not going to not edit, because what else am I going to do there? It's not like at home where it's like, well, I'm going to turn on the TV for a minute.
You don't have
no
those
other
other
distractions.
Yeah. And it's like I'm going to end up sitting there watching TV for an hour instead of editing the show. So sometimes it is just about your surroundings. And I used to wonder, too. Like, I would always, anytime I would go to, like, a coffee shop or library, I'm like, why are there people here? Why don't you do this at home? Now I know. Now I get it.
Right.
I get it now.
Like,
I
you
can't
go to
do
those
this shit
places
at
and you're
home.
like, there's a lot of shit in here that can distract me. But home is like, there's too many reasons not to do what it is that you need to focus on.
Yes.
I'm tired. Let me go lay down. Let me eat. Let me watch something else.
That's a big
there's
one.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to eat real quick
Yeah,
first.
and I'm gonna take a 2-hour
Food is a
nap.
huge
Yeah.
distraction.
Food
So
is
like
a
when you go to
huge
these other places, it's
distraction.
kind of like, you know, yeah, it may be noisy in here and there's other people in here, but that's like the extent of it. Like, it allows you, the environment.
But then
will
even
allow
though
you.
sometimes it's really not noisy in those places.
Libraries, no. Coffee
Well,
shops.
I mean, coffee shops aren't too noisy.
Shit, that espresso machine.
Oh.
Sometimes that gets
Okay,
you in
okay.
that kind of gets you in the zone sometimes.
It-
Just
yeah.
like then it turns into
Just
white
like the
noise.
background.
noise.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
white noise,
background
white
noise.
noise,
Yeah,
white noise,
that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. That
So,
is true. Facts.
yeah, I mean, maybe we just need to start changing environments a little bit. Especially us, both of us, being at home all fucking day long.
Yeah.
It's like,
You
know,
work from home,
I
right?
work from home. That's what I'm saying. So, like, my work, my literal job is at a desk in my room.
Does it require that you have quiet space?
Yes.
So it could be challenging for you to go into another external environment.
Oh, no. I love background noise. I love white noise, all that stuff. That doesn't bother me. But what bothered me was me clocking out of work and then just pulling up my laptop to my same work desk and trying to edit my podcast.
Okay.
And now I'm associating this with something I don't like
It
doing.
just feels like work.
Right.
Yeah. So
Okay.
then switching up the environment helps me a lot. But I haven't tried going to like coffee shops and stuff yet. One thing I did like was sitting in my backyard and editing outside. I was like, this feels
Or a
good.
park?
Or the park.
Do you have
yeah.
a hotspot? Well, you can use your phone as
I
one.
don't need Wi-Fi to edit. I just need my
That's right.
program and my files. That's it.
Well, it's right now in Las Vegas. It's nice, so it's not super cold.
Yeah,
I don't know
it's
what
nice
time
right now.
you know you get off work, but if you have the opportunity to, maybe on the weekends, it's definitely beautiful. Go to the park.
I'm gonna, yeah, but yeah, even just like sitting in the grass in my backyard, like it feels good just sitting out there with my computer and doing whatever.
There you go.
Change of environment and fucking getting outside can help you so much too.
That is also true.
And I was again for you, you're at home all day too, so maybe you should need to step outside. You got this nice patio out here
See what I'm saying?
set
He's got
up,
the
like
chairs out
I know.
there. He's
Take
got the
advantage of
table.
that.
Take
I
advantage.
definitely, I will say that since becoming self-employed business owner, I have been such a hermit in my own home.
Oh, I've been a
I-
hermit since I started working from home. Trust me.
It's crazy.
The amount of sunlight I see in a week is insane how little it is
Yeah.
because I just don't go outside sometimes. And it made me realize, so like within the past year going to Costa Rica and Puerto Rico, how much happier I am when I'm
See those
outside.
enunciations, everybody.
Just noticing, because both in those environments, I was outside majority of the time. And the difference it makes just for your mental well-being to be outside, to be
Huge.
in the sun, it's very different.
Yeah, it's trying to remind myself of that too, because I feel the same way. When we started in the pandemic, like maybe the first couple months of that,
Yeah, like
I
back
would
in
I would come
February.
out, I would go outside and I would literally walk 2 miles around
Yeah.
this neighborhood,
Same.
Yeah.
come
And
back
now I
and
don't
feel
anymore.
re-energized.
Yes.
But now it's like pulling teeth trying to do
Yeah.
that stuff.
Same, yeah. I'm like, why did I go outside so much when I felt like I couldn't? Not that I couldn't, but like I felt like I needed it. But now it's like, okay, I could still do that, but now I'm just
Yeah,
sitting
why
in my
didn't I just
bedroom
continue doing that?
8 hours, 10 hours a day for no reason.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Interesting.
environment, outdoors, it all helps. I
Yeah.
just, oh my God, fuck, I don't want to say this incorrectly.
Just say it.
But it was another foreign country, and I remember which one, but they've made it official that doctors can prescribe you tickets to national parks because of how good that is for your health and well-being, to just be outside and be in nature.
You know, I was having a conversation with a coworker yesterday about healthcare and just how different the perspectives of what
is healthcare?
Like in America, it's almost like as if we only treat symptoms.
It's only medicinal. It's
Like,
never natural.
Yeah.
It's never
allopathic is what it is, the term. And
I've never heard that term, actually.
Yeah, it's almost as if they're treating your symptoms only. They don't want to get to the root cause of the problem. So, for instance,
that's very true.
if I am a diabetic, they just want to give me the diabetic medication that's going to keep my blood sugar levels low, as opposed to get to the root cause.
Instead of saying, why are you diabetic? What are you eating?
Exactly.
What are you putting in your body?
Exactly.
Let's just put more shit into your body.
They don't make them no money.
Exactly. Again, back to capitalist America.
Oh, we're not gonna
It
go
all
there.
comes back again.
But yeah, it was just very interesting, because
It is, yeah.
It's like there are so many more things that are more beneficial to us, but because we are so regimented in maybe, let's say, a particular routine or a particular thing, we become regimented in that, and we don't want to look elsewhere, or we don't want to even acknowledge the other possibilities. But to me, there's nothing better than getting out. Getting out and relieving yourself from just nature in general.
It
Medication,
a lot, man.
it's a short-term response, but
It is a short-term response. It's also not the only response.
Thank you, Dre.
There it is.
Thank you.
There it is. You hear that, America?
Medication is not the only way, folks.
Yes.
I mean, there's enough documentaries on Netflix that we watch.
Oh, for sure.
A
Have
ton.
you guys ever seen Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead?
Yes.
Oh my God,
Love it.
changed my life. I was like, this man,
Yes.
incredible.
Yes.
Tell me what happened in this.
Incredible. Oh, you didn't see it?
I haven't seen it.
So this man,
Oh.
he had a ton of health problems. The main ones being like obesity, and he had this weird skin rash thing. I
Right,
can't remember
right,
what
right.
it was specifically. And he was always getting all types of medications. They're like, here, take this to treat this, take this to treat whatever. He decided, and I can't remember how he decided,
Watch this.
to go on a juice only fast.
In the back of his van. It was
While
a
he
van,
was
right?
traveling the
While he was
world.
traveling the world.
Talking, not the world, the country. He was driving around the country, and he was talking to people about health and healthcare and how they treat themselves. And yeah, so he had a juicer in the back of his van, and he would only juice fresh fruits and vegetables.
That's it.
And that's all he lived off of. No solid food.
I don't know if
just
it's on
juices.
Netflix still, but dude, it's
Yeah.
a great
And
documentary.
Everything he dealt with, fucking gone. His skin cleared up. He lost a ton of weight. He felt better than he ever had in his entire life. He stopped taking all his medications.
Because he didn't need it anymore.
No. He just stopped taking them like when he started the project. And
So I'm gonna live on Earth.
yeah,
I'm gonna
live naturally.
gonna let the motherland heal me.
The motherland? I don't know about that. Fruits and vegetables or his
Well, I
healing,
mean,
but
you're correct. Technically, that's not his motherland.
Yeah, I was
He's
like,
of
oh.
European
Yeah,
descent.
he was also from some kind of European country. But
America's not his motherland.
yeah. But he decided to just go all natural, and I mean that helps a lot of people.
Interesting.
Yeah, you gotta watch. Check it out.
It's pretty much the exact opposite of
Super Size Me?
Super Size Me,
Yeah.
yes. It is the
Yep.
complete 360.
Which, I don't know if this is a tangent, but it's like when you watch Supersize Me and that guy who was eating a Big Mac every single day
Yes.
of his life, and
Yes.
he was
Morgan Spurlock.
no problem.
Yeah.
Like, how does that work?
What do you mean? No problem. He had tons of problems.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, did he?
That was the whole point of the documentary.
No, not Morgan. The other guy that he interviewed, the skinny guy. He had like the mutton chops.
Oh, see, I don't remember that.
Wait.
He
Maybe
ate-
I'm confusing it. I thought Morgan Spurlock.
So
he
he-
was the director and the guy that was
Yes, he was
starring
eating the food,
in it, right?
But
Yeah.
he had interviewed a gentleman that supposedly was eating three Big Macs a day. It was for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and he would do that every single. He wouldn't eat anything else, but his medical results were no problem.
I don't remember that, and I don't think that could be true in any way,
Are you
shape, or
sure?
form.
Well, yes, hey,
We're gonna have to look it
that's
up
right.
after this. We're
Yeah.
gonna confirm
Yeah, I
show
have to
this, 'cause
confirm that.
There's no way in hell somebody could eat 3 Big Macs
Because
a
I
day
know Morgan
and be
Spurlock
healthy.
at
Well-
the end of the Super Size Me thing, he had high cholesterol. Like he was on the he had
Yeah,
an
he was
enlarged
definitely
heart.
fucked up.
Like
Didn't he
had an
also get
enlarged
like
heart.
impotent from it?
Yes, he couldn't get it
Dude
up.
had problems, and he
Yeah.
was only 30 days on McDonald's. Like,
And the thing was too is I remember him saying like, I know people think like, oh, this is extreme, whatever, but in reality it's not far off from what people do, because it's true. People
course.
eat out 2-3 times a day, so him eating 3 meals a day is not far from reality.
Yeah.
I know we're on a tangent right now.
We are.
We're gonna wrap it up, guys.
Yeah.
I promise we're gonna wrap it up. But to touch on that, what you just said, like I have these conversations with, my coworkers often, and how easy it is for us on a typical Western diet. Is like if you're on the typical routine of Starbucks in the morning, snacks throughout the day, then your fast food for lunch, and then snacks throughout the day, and then you finally get home and then you have another, let's say processed dinner, fast food
Yeah.
place or whatever. Like
You're too tired, you
don't
wanna grab
realize
something
how
on the way home.
fast you get over your calories. Like
Oh, for
you have
sure.
superseded what you need
For sure.
to get throughout the day, but it's so easy because it's like,
It's
let me
accessible.
get this lot. It's accessible
Because
it's
we grow
easy,
up on convenience.
convenient,
Yes.
no preparation. Like I don't have to cook food. Like I get up, get my coffee, get my pastry. I have a bag of chips. I go to lunch. Same thing. Rinse and repeat.
I lived off of vending machines when I worked.
Crazy.
Damn.
Yeah.
And I remember talking to, because I was visiting a friend of mine who him and I used to work together. Because, obviously we started working together very, very young. And I was telling him, I was like, man, can you believe the fact that we used to eat fucking cup of noodles and hot Cheetos every day for lunch? Like how did we survive?
What
And
a-
I was
what a
like,
time in our lives.
now in our 30s, could not
Yakisoba? What about
could
that
not do that.
yakisoba, though?
Doing that now in my 30s, my body would hate me.
Yeah. Your body would just
No.
be like, what the hell is going on right
I
now?
was like, we were also like 22, so that probably helped a little bit.
You're trying to get fresh?
But I was like, what's happening right here?
Still trying to
This guy
caress
touched
arm
my
over there.
hand.
Hey, chill out, bro.
Check it back on the camera. My hand
not,
was here first.
Are you guys
and
not
then-
close enough, or need to do
Listen,
this?
he's trying to get too close on this peanut butter couch. Cognac.
That
Excuse
is
me.
a
Thank
peanut
you.
butter
Cognac.
Thank you.
couch.
Appreciate
Cognac.
that. Thank you.
Cognac.
All right. Okay. So, last thing. If you were to tell yourself from that first episode, advice from yourself now, what would you tell yourself?
Interesting.
That's a tough one
It is.
because part of me wants to tell that person, hold on a little bit longer. Just hold on a little bit longer.
Like mentally?
Mentally, and to not be so overzealous with the idea of you.
See, I
doing
think
your own
that's you
thing.
being too hard on yourself again.
I know. I know. It sounds like I'm being hard on myself.
I think you're being too hard on yourself.
I don't know, man. I don't know right now. Like it's very hard for me to answer that question just because
Okay.
I want to give that person the answers,
Mm.
but at the
sometimes
same
you don't have
time,
the answer.
I don't even have the answers right now. So
A lot of that
It is what it is.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's really honest.
I felt like the first episode that when you said the same question, I was like, "It's very prolific. We had exactly what the good stuff to say." And now I'm at this point where it's just like, I don't fucking know.
It's that
But you know what? That's the
self-reflection.
reality of it. And fucking not everything is sunshine and rainbows and shit. Like,
That's also true.
That's
Life
what
is
I'm
life.
trying to say. That's all I'm trying to say. Like this journey of life, I think we think the success is wrapped up in us being successful. If that makes sense, if you understand what I'm saying. I know it's like, wait a minute, success and successful.
I get what you're saying.
Let me explain. It's like, in order for us to feel like we've done what it is that we're supposed to do, like we fulfilled our purpose, like we've done what it is that we feel we were put here to do, it's almost like the success, that's what being successful is.
Yeah.
But in order for you to get to those points, you have to have points in which you grow and understand the things that you didn't do, as well as those things that are going to make you a better person. If you don't have, in my opinion, if you don't have those two things, how can you be successful if you don't know what it is that you need to improve on? Like if you've never had a failure and you allow yourself to grow from that. You understand what you did wrong during that period or the things that you could have done better.
Yeah.
If you don't allow yourself to, I guess, progress from those points, how are you truly successful if you don't have failure? You have, in my opinion, you have to fail to succeed.
Agreed. Completely agree.
Like, it's impossible to say, oh, well, I succeeded. Well, what did you succeed from? What did you move from and move towards? If you've never had a stumbling block, roadblock, or something that you need to change or an improvement that you need to have, how did you get to that point of success?
Yeah.
So, to elaborate on Jay's thing.
Wait, before you do that, I want to change my answer.
No,
Go for it. Go for it.
I'm gonna change my answer because you touched on a lot of good things that just came into my
Okay,
into my
go
head.
ahead.
What I would tell myself back then,
Yes.
I would say, don't be so hard on yourself.
Oh, see? Yes, I like that.
Don't be so hard on yourself. Be proud that you took the chance.
Yes.
That's it.
That's it.
Slow clap.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Okay, go ahead.
The snaps.
See, that was good.
That was.
To answer your question, like Jay said, I don't. That's very difficult. Oh, that's very difficult.
I mean, was that not what you would tell yourself? There's no success without failure?
That's a good one.
I would, but I don't know if that's. I mean,
doesn't really fit what you were doing.
Yeah, but not just that, but I've learned so much. Like 7 months, 8 months, almost a year.
Yeah.
Like I said, my mentality has shifted since then, and I feel like I've learned to be more objective in my own personal life, as opposed to like, well, you didn't do that right, or you failed at something, or you didn't accomplish that. It's more of like using those opportunities or those moments where I didn't complete the objectives or goals that I set for myself or follow the steps. It's more of like, I'm more objective, like, well, how can I use those opportunities as learning moments to improve the future for myself? And that's a part of that mind shift. So
I have it for you. If I was you, and you're talking to your other self,
yeah,
one line.
yeah,
Change your perspective.
bro.
What the fuck was
The
that?
headbutt, fist butt.
That's
baby.
the knowledge going into the forehead.
Change your perspective. 100%. Change your perspective. I truly believe, I'm glad you said that. On all the videos that I prefaced earlier in this podcast about me watching videos about entrepreneurs and people who are investing about, having a successful life. So like Jay was, he alluded to it. Change your perspective. It's just that. Like, the situation doesn't need to change. Our environment doesn't need to change. The things that are happening, we see things as happening to us, right? Things that are happening to us.
That one always
Change
gets
your
me.
perspective. It's not that it's happening to you. It's happening for you.
Yep.
Or those things in your life or in your environment. Use them as opportunities. Change your
Agreed.
perspective. That's.
If I could offer one small change to that, I would say to open your perspective, because like one thing for me is I'm constantly hearing new perspectives from different people and being open to that and just having an open mind to seeing different perspectives and not necessarily changing mine, because I have one and you have another one.
Absolutely.
But I can be open to both.
Just embrace it. That's
Yeah.
it. I like that.
Okay, before we wrap it up.
I like
Yeah.
that. I like that.
What is so you in that same scenario?
Okay.
That same moment
Yes,
when we're all
ask
together,
again.
Telling myself?
telling yourself
Yes.
But from what point?
from that point,
From our episode?
our episode,
Yes.
to
Ooh.
now, what would you
I
tell that
don't-
person?
I don't remember what point in my life I was in that episode. So let's see. This was, you said June, July.
June, July of last year.
I was at 20 episodes. I was only 2 seasons in. Ooh, this was before. This was before Costa Rica.
Yeah,
This was
exactly.
before all that stuff.
Okay, so you've
Damn.
experienced.
Yeah,
you have
I've changed a
experienced
lot
this.
within
Yes,
that
you
period.
have.
Life has
All
happened
right.
for you.
What would I tell myself? I would tell myself to stop being afraid and to stop letting fear hold you back. Because I very much was. I think that's the biggest one because that was something I let go of that changed a lot. And I mean, so I did it. So I don't know if it's necessary to tell myself that, but that was something I needed to do and I did eventually. So that's probably what I would tell myself. Stop holding yourself back. Stop being afraid. Not stop being afraid because you can't necessarily stop being afraid,
Right.
but don't let the fear keep you from doing things.
Just embrace it.
That's it.
I use that term with Jay a lot. Just embrace it. Just
Again, it's
embrace
another simple one that just fucking
It just hits.
it just works.
it. Just embrace it. You don't have to change it. You don't have to run
Yes.
from it. Just embrace
Don't
it.
run from anything.
Yeah,
just
just
feel
embrace
it.
it.
Just let it.
Right.
Just let it go.
Allow yourself to
Surrender.
feel it. Yeah, that's
That's a word I've been using a lot lately.
Yes.
Well,
surrender.
guys, thank you for
Drea,
doing
thank
Thank
you.
you.
from season 2 to season
Popular
5.
Passion, baby.
Cheers. I don't know if I can
Cheers.
reach from
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah. Cheers. Cheers.
Thank you so much.
Thank
we
you.
appreciate you having us back on here and be able to
Dude, thank you.
do all this. So, thank you.
That's a wrap.
Mm.
On a
Hey.
good episode.